Hey friends, it's Jay Lobos coming back to you on another episode. And on today's topic, I wanted to talk to you guys out there that might be getting these collection calls from collection companies, maybe some literature over the mail, maybe you're getting these threats from attorneys' offices, or you might even be summoned to court with regards to some of the debts that you might have. I wanted to go ahead and share a couple of quick tips for you guys before making taking the next steps or making those decisions. I've been literally approached several times, not only by our processors here at Buildworth Strategies, and for you guys that out there that don't know me or don't know the channel, welcome. Obviously, this is a channel that I've created and designed for the purposes of not only sharing information with regards to what goes on within a credit repair company, but also to go ahead and share as much education possible on credit so that we could empower the consumer, us, work together to be able to obviously achieve higher credit scores. So for you guys out there checking this out for the first time, obviously if you go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, if you think this is obviously very informative and somebody obviously needs to hear this information, go ahead and share this video with them so that we could go ahead and continue to help others. So getting straight to the topic, for you guys out there, obviously right now there's different types of degrees, especially when it comes to actually collections. And this is one thing that I wanted to go ahead and create this video to illustrate, to show a little bit of what we go through here in the credit repair industry. Obviously being an owner of a credit repair company here in South Florida by the name of Buildworth Strategies, check that out. And basically we go through different challenges. So one of the things usually that I go ahead and get clients, there's different types of degrees when it actually comes to collection, letters or threats or phone calls or whatnot. So I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a couple of pointers, not only as to how to address, but also the severity of it, of how the sense of urgency, what to do, what the next steps are. So for the most part, first off, there's the initial type of collection letter that you might go ahead and get, and that's your average type of collection letter. It usually comes from a collection agency such as Portfolio Recovery, Enhanced Recovery, one of those companies, and usually it'll literally say on the letter that the debt has been bought from ABC creditors such as Macy's, Bank of America, Home Depot, one of these major creditors, right? And what happens is, for you guys out there that don't know really in regards to how an account goes into collection, obviously the original creditor has about 180 days, which is 6 months of consecutive late payments before they're able to go ahead and charge off that account. Once the account is charged off, after it's gone to the 30, a 60, a 90, a 120, a 150, a 180 day late, then the state gives that creditor a tax discount, which is basically called profits and loss. Every company goes through it. Obviously there's gains and there's losses that a company has to go through, and once the account has been charged off, then there's collection companies that come and they purchase the information. But as you guys know, there's no addendum in a credit card statement, or when you go ahead and sign a mortgage, or when you go ahead and sign a car loan or whatnot, that says that if the original creditor can collect, then the collection agency is going to go ahead and intervene, with the exception of American Express, because they're actually their own collection company. So for you guys out there obviously wondering, what am I going to do once I get this collection letter? How should I address it? Should I pay it? One of the first things, and you guys have checked in the past videos, I'm obviously also part of another channel that we used to do a lot of videos, which is obviously Never Ever Pay Collections. Check that one out, which obviously it's a video. And the reason why we always say don't pay the collections, especially when you go ahead and get one of these collection letters, is because first off, we want to see the legitimacy of it. So that's number one. So my suggestion for you guys out there, getting a regular type of letter coming from one of these major collection agencies, Portfolio Recovery, Enhanced Recovery, if you get any of these collection letters and it's telling you that they're willing to go ahead and settle or negotiate the debt, it's not that we don't want to go ahead and pay them, but we have to understand what is the objective, what is the goal, what are you looking to do? What do you want out of this? If you want healthy credit, I know without a shadow of a doubt that paying a collection will not remove the data from the report. So there's two things in credit. There's a financial aspect of it, and there's also the information that's being reported. Obviously, we want to honor, we want to be righteous, and we want to pay off that debt. But if the outcome is not going to give me what I want, which is to have healthier credit, then what's the point of paying this account? First off, the creditor has already gotten a tax break from the state because whatever money they were not able to collect from you, the state gives them a tax write-off, which is that profits and loss I mentioned earlier in the conversation. So because of that, you've already hindered your credit by having bad credit, gone through a process of maybe paying high rates. So guess what? Whatever happened already happened. But if the purpose is to try to have healthy credit, then we need to go in a different route. First route is, I would actually suggest or encourage, do your research first. Either consult with a company like ours. If you guys need a free credit evaluation for us to evaluate your report, let us know. But nevertheless, dispute or challenge that information. Because by challenging information on your credit report and sending out a dispute using the Fair Credit Reporting Act, everything obviously has to be verifiable, accurate, and complete. And since these collection companies are purchasing information, they can't purchase all the data. And the rules are the rules. Everything has to be verifiable, accurate, and complete. And if it's not, it has to be deleted or corrected. So the first thing you should be doing, challenging the information. And first off, address the letter as they come, because sometimes too, we've had clients that send us collection letters, but the information is not even reporting on their credit report. So how, because you might have ABC collection from who knows where, and then we're trying to address something that's not even holding us back. And again, these could be companies phishing, trying to get you to re-age the account by making payments, trying to get information from you, who knows. A lot of this data is also sold out there in the public. So a lot of the times there's companies that are actually soliciting, trying to get you to go ahead and do a settlement, and they're not even legit. So the first thing anybody should be doing is disputing the accuracy of that information. So look at your credit report, get your credit monitoring in order, pull up your report, and if you don't see that account on your credit report, guess what? The sense of urgency of handling that, first off, is not even going to be there. At least on a personal level for myself, I don't take any kind of sense of urgency. Obviously, it's not on my report. Second, if you do see the account on the report, then initiate a dispute. Either you could do it yourself, you could hire a company like ours, or do your research. And obviously with that, you have a potential, because they're not going to have sufficient amount of information. There's a high probability when it comes to challenging a collection and getting it deleted from your credit report. And in turn, if you want to have healthy credit, remember guys, there's two things. The financial aspect of it, which obviously bothers us. We want to go ahead and pay that off. But the information is what's holding the scores back. So in a sense, if you do see it on the report, you send out the dispute, the information gets deleted. Do you still want to pay it? Most likely not. Now, if you do go ahead and send out a dispute, or you send out multiple disputes and you're still not having any success, there's an alternative to that, which is actually called what it is, a payment for deletion. It's very kind of hard to obtain, but there's some companies out there that are willing to go ahead and do this for you, which basically says you're agreeing that if you pay the total amount or part of the amount, you do a settlement with them, consciously you have to settle with them. Keep in mind guys, they're buying these debts for pennies on the dollars. If you owe $100, they're probably paying 10 cents on the dollar. So in that particular case, you're getting it for $10. They're charging you now $50, and you think that it's obviously a discount because the original debt was $100, and at the end they're obviously winning. So settle it, negotiate it, and if you're not too confident with that, obviously let us know and we'll help you out with that. But nevertheless, and the letter that you're supposed to obtain is called the payment for deletion, meaning that if you go ahead and settle for less than the full balance or for the total balance, they are agreeing to delete the information from Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. It has to say that verbiage, because a lot of the times too, they'll try to trick you. And they'll tell you, yeah, we're going to go ahead and update the information, and they'll send you a letter, and the letter is basically going to say that the account has been updated to a zero balance. And guess what? That's not going to cut it from the bureaus. The bureaus are not going to delete something that only states that. It has to come from them. It has to be in their letterhead. And you need to go ahead and leverage that. That's one of the ways. So this way you're settling the debt. Obviously, if it's a big balance, there's not going to be any kind of repercussions in the future of anybody coming after you, trying to go ahead and doing a bank levy, a garnishment of wages, taking away your tax money. Because obviously there's collections out there that you guys might have that could be for a few $1,000, $15,000, $10,000. And guess what? For those, there has to be a sense of urgency, because there's other things that the creditor can do to try to recover those funds. And for that, that's where I'm getting to my next step, which is basically, if you're going to go ahead and get a collection from an attorney, I kind of address it the same way as getting a collection from a collection company. In a sense, they're basically representing this collection company or the original creditor, but nevertheless, you guys already know what has happened. They're limited on the information that they have. Double check it with your credit report. Look to see if the account is obviously being reported, and if it is, challenge it Worst case scenario, try to do the payment for deletion. But nevertheless, check the validity of it. Do your research, do your homework. And last but not least, when you get sued or you get summoned, and obviously you have an intimidating person that comes over to your home and they want to do, and it's basically you're getting served. Guys, keep in mind that you still have rights. And one of the rights is you don't have to agree to anything that that person is saying. You don't even have to open the door. They're not the police. You're not being arrested. You're not going to get incarcerated. So for us out there that we feel kind of intimidated, be empowered. Know that you have rights. And guess what? There is the Fair Debt Collections Practice Act. There's supposed to be a systematic process. So for you guys out there that they have maybe some person that comes over to your house, they might have a badge, it looks really intimidating, don't open the door. And if you do open the door and they ask for whoever it is, say that person doesn't live here or that person is not here. Nevertheless, they can't give you the document. You want nothing. You don't want to sign anything, by the way. Because guess what? They're going to try to use as many resources as possible, because guess what? If they go ahead and served you and then they take you to court and you don't show up, at least the judge knows that you received that summons, so you're aware of it. So guess what's going to happen if you don't show up? Then they're going to award the creditor the outcome. And in that particular case, the creditor, what they're going to get is going to be a satisfied judgment on their part, and then they could grab that judgment and escalate it to that next level, which is what? A bank levy, a garnishment of wages. They could even go ahead and take away your tax money. They could put a lien on your property. They could put a lien on your business. So one of the things is, in that particular case, if somebody comes over to the house, well, obviously with a badge, do your research. Most likely that individual probably has a collection and it's a pretty high amount. So how do we want to go ahead and address that? Get in contact with a consumer attorney. First, you're going to go ahead, you're going to dive into your credit report. You're going to see exactly what that says. And guess what? And if you do see a collection that just popped up in your report and it's for a high amount, the first thing that you want to do, instead of addressing it, address it with that collection company. See if there is a way of settling the account, because if it's getting to that point that you're being sued and somebody's coming to your house, most likely they want to escalate it to that next level. And that next level is something that we don't want to get to. So in that particular case, try to get the payment for deletion, or if possibly, if you guys are in Florida, I have my friend Daniel Tam. He's an amazing consumer attorney. This guy shuts down collection companies, very aggressive, could potentially go ahead and help you. You'll pay a fraction of the cost, could help you to settle. And if you guys don't live in Florida, Google and put consumer attorney in your state and contact one of them. Let them know exactly that you do have a collection on your credit report. They have access to certain systems, LexisNexis and other databases that they might be able to go ahead and research information. They have access to public record information, court documents, and if there is a lawsuit out there for with your name on it, then they could go ahead and help you to address that. In a sense that you don't want it to escalate it to that next level. But once you've gotten there, you have to address that debt, because that's already too far off, and there's going to be consequences, potentially consequences that could take place. And last but not least too, I also wanted to go ahead and I should have said this in the beginning, because sometimes the original creditors are also willing to settle once they've gone through a charge-off status, which is obviously kind of unfair. The state already gave them a tax break, and you're getting a letter from the original creditor saying that they're willing to settle. But guess what? The information will still remain on your credit report. So is that wise? No. My suggestion, number one, dispute it. See what the outcome is, because once the information has been disputed, then guess what? Now you have leverage. You have documentation from the bureaus that states that the information was not legitimately reporting correctly. There's a violation. There's some sort of situation that happened with the information that was being reported, and you can literally leverage this. So if it's necessary to hire an attorney after you've done your investigation, give the information over to the attorney, and now you have a little bit of supporting documentation to back you up. So, and for you guys out there going to the courthouse, and if you don't have any kind of representation, be prepared. Depending on what your financial state is, take your bank statements. If you don't report a lot of income, then the judge, I've been in different situations with people who have given advice that the judge has literally ruled out the judgment or has ruled out what the creditor wants because they don't make enough income. But obviously you have to have that proof. If you're not working, you have to show that proof. If you're obviously unemployed, you have to show that proof. If you are working, but you're obviously a homeowner, or maybe you're the breadwinner, maybe you have kids, you have to show that proof, because again, it has to be fair. But if you guys obviously want some information, feel free to contact our office here at 1-855 532-8453. And one of our account executives will help you. If not, do your research, do your homework. I wish you guys the best. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was very informative. Like I said before, like, share, and subscribe. And if you think somebody out there needs to hear this information, share it with them. They need it. Thank you so much for watching, guys.